Good afternoon, everybody. Anthony Aniano here from RotoBaller Radio and rotoballer.com with a special All-Star break treat. As today, we're going to look at 7 minor leaguers to add and stash on your fantasy baseball roster for the second half of the MLB season. Folks, don't forget, head over to rotoballer.com right now. Sign up today for our premium pass, whether baseball for the second half of the season or the upcoming football season. Use the promotional code ACES, save at checkout, and take advantage of all the great action there. Our team sync tools, lineup optimizers, football rankings, you name it, rotoballer.com, the place to be. Like I said, use that promotional code ACES and save at checkout. Also, like and subscribe right here to the RotoBaller YouTube channel and download the app. It's free, so take advantage of that. So, like we said, no action since last Sunday, so the waiver wire articles or the waiver wire videos from last weekend still kind of hold true. But now we take a look, right, as waivers maybe come through this weekend, at some minor leaguers who may be looking at a recall either very soon, we'll get to that in a minute, or a little further down the line. And if you have a minor league spot available, or if you just have dead roster space, large enough rosters, some of these players could prove to be helpful as the Major League Baseball season enters its second half and goes towards the finish line. Now, I say this, and I title this, right, 7 minor leaguers to stash. The reality is 2 of my 7 got the call over this All-Star break and will be with the Oakland Athletics starting on Friday, tomorrow. Full disclosure, recording this on Thursday of the All-Star break, Thursday, July 13th to be exact. So obviously some things can change over the course of the next couple of days once the games kick on again on Friday. However, that being said, the news broke yesterday. 2 Oakland Athletics were promoted. So Tyler Soderstrom and Zach Galoff have both been promoted. They're on my list. I'll get to them in a minute. So even though it's titled minor leaguers, like I said, 2 of these guys will be making their debut this weekend for the Oakland A's. Anyway, number 1, and I'm ordering these by percentage rostered on yahoo.com. Remember, trying to keep it at 50% or below. So the number 1 player on the list, it has the highest roster percentages, and that's Baltimore Orioles starting pitcher Grayson Rodriguez. Rostered on Yahoo at 44%. So deeper leagues, maybe not available. Different formats, maybe not available. Grayson Rodriguez is on Fangraphs, the overall number 24 ranked prospect in Major League Baseball. He is the Baltimore Orioles' number 3 ranked prospect, as other players have now been called up. He's had a cup of coffee in the major leagues. He's kind of split almost evenly his time between the major leagues and the minor leagues. Now, at the major league level this year, Grayson Rodriguez, 45 1/3 innings, and the K rate's been terrific at the major league level at 11.12 Ks per 9. Now, he's been beat up. His ERA has been high. It's at 7.35, attributed to a batting average against of over 300 and a walk rate over 4. Now, at the AAA level, not sure how much there is left for him to prove. In almost an equivalent number of innings, 41 1/3 innings pitched, averaging just over 12 strikeouts per 9 innings, and an ERA under 2 at 1.96. Now, there are alerts, there are alarms, right? The xFIP for Grayson Rodriguez down at AAA is over 3. It's actually over 3.5. I believe it's 3.77, tied to a walk rate even at AAA that's slightly over 4. The difference is he's walking batters at both levels, AAA and the major leagues. The major league level, his first stint, they were hitting him over 300. At the minor league level, they're not. The batting average against for Grayson Rodriguez at AAA is a minuscule 174, so he's able to get away with some of these walks. That control does need to improve a little bit, but nonetheless, the strikeout rate is there. He should be rostered. Orioles, I'd be shocked if they don't promote him as they continue their push to the postseason. At number 2, another team pushing for the postseason, Cincinnati Reds, Christian Encarnacion Strand, 27% rostered on Yahoo. He's the team's number 13th ranked player in the minor leagues, but I don't care, right? That Reds organization was completely stacked. Half of those players are right now at the major league level, and they have led to that push to put Cincinnati into first base. He's going to be a corner infield, maybe even an outfield eligible player once he gets promoted. Now the question becomes, how do the Reds fit him in Does Spencer Steer move to the outfield? Encarnacion Strand, potentially DH, however it works. But he's raking at AAA. He's the next big piece. When you look at McLean, when you look at Ella Dela Cruz and some of the other Steer, and then some of the pitchers that they've brought up. At AAA, Encarnacion Strand is hitting .321 with a .392 on base percentage. An OPS of over 1,000 at 1,012. Anything over 800 gets my interest. Encarnacion Strand is destroying that. He's got 20 home runs with 58 RBIs at the AAA level, a walk rate of just under 10%, and for a power-hitting corner infielder, a strikeout rate that's exceptional at 22.5%. He's only 27% rostered, makes him about 73% available, and you're looking at a bat that can have an impact for your fantasy teams when and if he gets the call. At number 3, New York Mets middle infielder Ronnie Mauricio. Shortstop, if he gets promoted, will play second base for the Mets. The key right now is, are the Mets buyers or sellers? Personally, I think they're sellers, and that's how that's going to go. And players like Tommy Pham, players like Mark Canha could be on the move. If that happens, Jeff McNeil, their second baseman, will play more left field, and Ronnie Mauricio will slide in as the second baseman for the New York Mets. He's Fangraph's number 100 overall prospect and the team's number 5, but that includes guys already at the major league level like Alvarez and Brett Beatty. Okay, at AAA this year, Ronnie Mauricio is hitting .302 with a .348 on base percentage and an .852 OPS, showing some power with 12 home runs, 47 RBIs, and 14 stolen bases. A 2020 type of player on the way for the New York Mets, and they've transitioned him away from shortstop. Obviously, Lindor blocks him, and get him moved over to second base. Needs to walk a little bit more, only 4.9% of the time, but doesn't strike out, only striking out 16.2% of the time this season down at AAA. Mauricio only rostered in 10% of Yahoo leagues. At number 4, and this is who I mentioned earlier, I'm saying a minor leaguer to stash, but he's going to be up at the big league club for the Oakland Athletics Friday, and that's Tyler Soderstrom, the team's number 1 overall prospect, the overall 30th ranked prospect, courtesy of Fangraphs. Catcher, first base eligibility on Yahoo, although he hasn't been catching much in the minor leagues. He's only 9% rostered, makes him 91% available. Now, batting average at AAA has been a bit low, .254. On base percentage, a little bit low at .303, but an OPS of .838. Okay, and where he plays with power. 20 home runs, 59 RBIs. A true power hitting profile, okay, even with the 6.6% walk rate and a slightly elevated strikeout rate of 27.6% of the time. He could easily be an immediate waiver wire ad because he's helping you potentially right now with catcher eligibility, also potentially corner infield eligibility, and displaying a power bat. Next up, another Oakland Athletic who also got the call for this weekend, Zach Gelof. Second base, third base. Going to be interesting to see where Oakland plays him. Okay, Yahoo eligibility right now sits at third base, has played some second base in the minor leagues. Now, he's only 2% rostered on Yahoo, making him 98% available. Zach Gelof is the team's number 5 ranked prospect. Power speed combo with a higher batting average than Soderstrom. Soderstrom has more power. Zach Gelof, a .304 hitter down at AAA this year with a .401 on base percentage. Terrific approach. 13.3% walk rate and a 27.9% strikeout rate. Okay, an OPS on Zach Gelof of .929. Sign me up for that number. What I love, like Mauricio earlier, 12 home runs and 20 stolen bases. This guy can have an impact in multiple ways on your fantasy team going forward. 44 RBIs on the season. Tough to trust an Oakland Athletic. I get it. They're a miserable team, but they're bringing the young talent up to see what they have in the second half. At number 6, Detroit Tiger third baseman Colt Keith. Now, he might be a bit of a stretch. He started the season down at AA, played 59 games at AA for the Tigers. At AAA, he's only played 8 games at the time of this recording. Now, Colt Keith is only 3% rostered on Yahoo, 97% available. He's the 83rd ranked overall prospect on Fangraphs and the team's #1 ranked prospect. The reason I include him here, there's not much blocking him at the major league level. Zach McKinstry to be, in fact, the man playing third base mostly for the Detroit Tigers. Colt Keith, as Detroit fades away this season, if they're not already too far gone, in your opinion, Colt Keith can come up and get some at-bats at some point. Now, at AA in 59 games, he hit .325 with a .391 OPS and a .977 OPS, a .391 on base percentage. 14 homers, 50 RBIs at AA this year. Walked about 9% of the time and only struck out about 22.8% of the time. Now, they promote him to AAA. He's only played 8 games. I get it. It's a small sample. But in that small sample, he's hitting over 400. His on-base percentage is .471. His OPS is over 1,100 at 1.126. 2 homers, 7 RBIs, and at AAA, he's walking more than he's striking out. 11.8% walk rate and an 8.8% K rate. It's a terrific approach, high walk rate, low strikeout rate, 16 combined home runs between AA and AAA, hitting for a high average and an even better on-base percentage is Colt Keith of the Detroit Tigers. The question is, how long do they keep him at AAA? Do they want him to get 50 or 60 games there, or is he going to be fast-tracked as this season goes on? And the final player, my #7 ad, Miami Marlins Xavier Edwards, second base, played some outfield as well, and has had a cup of coffee at the major league level this year. The only issue with Xavier Edwards is he's blocked, right? Luis Ariz is trying to hit 400. He plays second base. Josh Chisholm eventually will be back again. He's in center field. So the path to playing time a little bit tougher for Xavier Edwards, who profiles as a Luis Ariz type of player. He's the Miami Marlins #7 overall player. And at the major league level, let's start with that. Only 9 games this year. He hit .381 in those 9 games with an .810 OPS. No homers, 2 RBIs, and a stolen base. Up and down between AAA this year, he really has nothing left to prove at that level. A .368 batting average, a .437 on base percentage, a .903 OPS. Not much power to speak of, only 3 home runs on the season, but with that high batting average, with that high on base percentage, he does have 20 stolen bases on the season. The only issue with Xavier Edwards of the Marlins will be the path to playing time once promoted. Okay? Now, I get it. I probably missed somebody on your team, your organization. So list them here. Who do you think is the next minor leaguer to have a major impact? Is it somebody different than the 7 I mentioned here today? So to review, 7 minor leaguers to add, to stash for the second half of your fantasy baseball season. #1, Grayson Rodriguez, pitcher, Baltimore Orioles. #2, Christian Encarnacion Strand, Cincinnati Reds. #3, Ronnie Mauricio, middle infielder, New York Mets. #4, Tyler Soderstrom, catcher, first base, Oakland Athletics. #5, Zach Galoff, second base, third base, Oakland Athletics. #6, Colt Keith, Detroit Tigers, corner infielder. And #7, middle infielder, potential outfield eligibility, Xavier Edwards, Miami Marlins. All right, everybody, don't forget, go to rotoballer.com. Follow me on Twitter at Aniano Fantasy. Like and subscribe right here to the RotoBaller YouTube channel. And we'll see you next time right here on RotoBaller Radio.